Hey, what's going on, everybody? Brandon with Taylorsfiresmoke Cooking. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a little while since you've seen me in a video or maybe out in the YouTube streets. Been super busy, actually. Just finally finished up our house. We actually close next week on it. The house that we're selling, then my business. Been really busy with that. And then church obligations. So it's been a little difficult to make room for you guys, but I am back today. I came today. We're going to help you guys make sure that you take care of your fathers for Father's Day. The ones that really love to cook, that's always in the kitchen. I'm gonna give you a few ideas that may help you out and make sure that you let them be happy on Father's Day. I know a lot of times it seems like we get the short end of the stick. We're either cooking on Father's Day, barbecuing, or doing something. But I wanna make sure that you have an opportunity to make sure that you give your father something nice, whether it be a father, your husband, uncle, brother, whoever you really love and that you wanna take care of on Father's Day. I'm here to help you out. First things first, we're going to start with team apparel. Now, I love sports. I love sports almost as much as I love cooking. So it only makes sense to have your team apparel represent your team while you're in the kitchen cooking. Now, whether it be football like me, I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. As you can see, I've got my Philadelphia Eagles apron. I've got this little hat, even though it's a little goofy, but it's fun to put on and use sometimes when you're in the kitchen cooking. We have our Philadelphia Eagles oven mitts. Team gear is always a good thing, especially if you have your loved one is a huge fan of sports as well. You can never go wrong with team gear. Look into it. It doesn't cost a whole lot, and you'll still have time to get it to your home before next Sunday, it's Father's Day, if you need to. So team gear is always a plus. Let's move into the next one. All right, the next thing, custom cutting boards. I have a couple here. My daughter bought me this one here. And then my sister actually got me this one right here. Custom cutting boards are really neat. Oftentimes you don't even use them as far as to cut stuff on, but it's a great decoration piece. It's a conversation starter. They look really cool, and it's a good representation of your loved one in the kitchen. However, whether it be a grill master, a pit master, great cook, you could put whatever you want and have it engraved and get that to them for Father's Day. So again, I think custom cutting boards, awesome idea. All right, the third item on my list, and potentially the most important, knives, good knives. Now, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get a decent knife, but you do want to make sure that the person in your life has nice knives. The number one cause of injury in your kitchen is the use of dull knives. So you don't want your husband using a dull knife or anything like that while he's in there chopping up or slicing or doing whatever the case may be. So these particular knives here, my wife got me a couple years ago. This is a Cuisinart knife block. It's a really nice set. You've got like carving knives, you got steak knives, you got your chopper, and it comes with scissors, a steel, sharpening steel, which is super important. You want to make sure that the loved one in your life has some really nice knives. I have a nice long slicing knife here, carving knife, another long sharpening steel. These you can get fairly reasonable as far as price. You know, you can get a decent knife for $50, $50 to $150. A knife block for $150, around $150, a little less depending. You can go super high if you got it like that, and you can spend in the thousands for a nice knife. To me, that's not necessary, especially for just the kitchen cook. We're not on Iron Chef here, but you want to make sure that the loved one in your life has something decent that they can use in the knife. That way they don't hurt themselves, and it makes it a little bit easier while you're doing your slicing and your cutting and chopping. So knives, very important, and makes a good gift for your father for Father's Day. On to number 4. All right, guys. Number 4, thermometers or meat probes, whatever you want to call them. Thermopro. These are important, especially for the ones who love the barbecue and grill and smoke meat. It's good to have these around. Now, you don't necessarily need them. I don't always use mine, but they are a great tool to use if you have company or you're trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and you may be smoking meat and doing some chores around the house as well, to where you don't have to keep running back to the grill or the smoker to check temp. Get yourself a wireless, your husband a wireless probe. He can set this thing inside the meat, set it up on his phone, and go about his business around the house and still be able to keep track of his meat while doing other chores. I highly recommend this. You can get this meat stick here. This is a meat stick X for roughly, I'd say 100 to 125, depending on where you're looking, and especially around now, Father's Day time, they usually have different sales and discounts, but they have several ones out. I do highly recommend the meat stick. There's something called the meter, and there are a little bit less pricey ones you can find on Amazon and different outlets, but I highly recommend these probes. It'll make a great gift. I'm sure he'll be very happy if he sees one of these in his gift bag. All right, number 5, cast iron. Whether it be a Dutch oven like we see here, this is the enamel coated cast iron Dutch oven, or this your basic cast iron skillet. Either way, if your husband does not have cast or any cast iron pots, I highly recommend that you get those for him as well. You can get these. These are fairly inexpensive. This is a large cast iron skillet. This one here is a 12-inch, I believe. And I did purchase this off of Amazon. I believe I only paid like $30 for this particular one. And this here, this is the enamel Dutch oven. I believe I only paid like $60 for this. So either way, you can fry. And the one great thing about your cast iron, you can fry in it, you can bake in it, you can braise food in it. Whatever you really want to need to do, you can set it on your campfire if you're camping. It's just so versatile and it holds heat very well. And every cook should have a good cast iron skillet and Dutch oven, in my opinion. I believe that if you got your loved one, your dad or your husband, a good cast iron skillet or Dutch oven, he'll be very pleased with you on Father's Day. So that's something to think about. All right, guys, and number 6, and last but not least, I'm actually not buying my smokers or grills right now in the store, but if while you're in the store with your husband at Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart or wherever store you go to, and he always seems to walk by the grills and smokers and tinker around with them, pay close attention to the ones he's messing with the most and the ones he might make mention of, like, this is pretty nice. Or I like that. This has some cool features. It would be nice to have one of those. Pay close attention to those words and to those statements. And he's probably throwing you some hints. Oftentimes, we try to drop a subtle hint and let you know what we want without telling you out front. Well, if you hear those subtle hints or you've seen, or it comes back to mind, I do remember him looking at this particular grill or this little smoke or this particular gadget. That's what he wants. So go to the store if it's in your budget, if you can afford it, because I understand some of these things are highly expensive. In the climate in today's age that we're living in, it's hard to really splurge and spend like you may once used to. But if you have it like that and you remember those things that he liked, that he tinkered with and that he made mention of, go ahead and get it for him. He deserves it. If he's a good father, he's a good husband, he provides for you, he's there, he's a protector, then show him how much you appreciate it. I understand that this is one time a year and it's not always goods that show what your appreciation toward your loved one, whether it be your wife or your husband. But it is nice to get a good gift from time to time to let you know how much you care. So guys, I hope this helps you. This was my Father's Day edition of some ideas that you can use to get your husband, your dad, or the father in your life this year. Just make sure that you do whatever you can for him. He's worth it. I appreciate you guys watching. Till the next time, I hope to be back a lot more steady in these YouTube streets real soon, and I'll see you around. God bless.